I think there's another area that we can explore, and that's around this notion of when do you say yes and when do you say no to a mentoring assignment? Thoughts on that, Doug?
The approach that I typically take is my first conversation with a prospective mentee protege is we need to get to know each other, and I want to make sure that they have a good understanding of the mentoring process and kind of what's expected. And I'm also at the same time what I'm searching for is there chemistry between us that's going to help us with this journey that we're going to go on. And then what I always like to be able to do, doesn't always happen, but I like to be able to do is, why don't the both of us go home and sleep on what we've just talked about? And when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you ask yourself the question, do I want to go on a mentoring journey with this Doug guy, or do I want to find somebody else? And if the answer to that question resoundingly is a yes, then send me a message and let me know, and we'll set up a time to begin our journey together. And if it's no, send me a message as well to say, I don't think, I'm not quite ready, or whatever reason you want to give. And if you still want to pursue being mentored, I will help you find somebody that might be a better fit. And so that's kind of the decision structure that I use, and it seems to work well.
And if you find yourself somewhere in the middle, and it's a maybe yes or a maybe no, I'm not quite sure, there's one way to check it out. And that's to have another short conversation and explain, I've got a maybe yes or I got a maybe no. Because to your point, you've already said to the person, if it's a yes, let's go, or if it's a no, let's not go, you're still communicating it to me. If you find yourself somewhere in the middle, let's continue the communication, because let's figure out which way it's going, because this is going to be helpful to both of us.
Right.
Because if you have hesitancy and I have hesitancy, then let's figure this out and work with it. Because the mentor also has the ability to say no or yes, just like the mentee does.
Yeah.
Right. The mentee may, oh yeah, I really want to talk to you, and the mentor's going, whoa, hang on a minute, what's going on here? I think I have to say no to this one. All right. But it's really understanding where that no is coming from, though. And that no, from a beliefs point of view, an assumptions point of view, a perception point of view, an opinion point of view, the window frame you're using, if it is a no, truly understand where that no is coming from. Equally, understand where that yes is coming from. And when you made the decision, you've made the decision. Move forward. It's okay. It truly is okay. And it doesn't have to be a difficult decision, because sometimes in a formal setting, I'm thinking, in a formal setting, and you've been assigned someone, you're going to go, okay, how do I make this work? That's not what mentoring is about. Let's make this work.
No.
It's really about, I have some lived experience. They've assigned someone to me, or the person's asked. Yes, it's in a formal setting. I still can say no to it. Yeah. And I've got to pay attention to that. Just like if it's an informal setting and someone approaches you and they work with a completely different company and in a completely different industry, and they would like to have some informal mentoring with you, it doesn't mean just because they came from somewhere else, you must, I must make sure I help them out. You can still say no to that as well. Let's be open to the possibilities. Does that spring to mind anything else from yours, or any great story that you have to share around that?
It draws us into the free versus paid conversation, but where I've had individuals who had asked if I would mentor them, and when I said, we can certainly have a conversation, and by the way, my per session rate is X amount, and that ended the conversation right there. So, it was. Having said that, we if there was an interest still to say, well, can we talk a little bit more about what you do and how you do it and all that stuff? And during that conversation, we could be able to find out that, their ability to pay for those type of services is almost non-existent. Then, out of caring and wanting to bring value, I would probably figure out a way to make it work for them. But when they kind of close the door without wanting to have any further dialogue, then they're only really truly looking for something that is free. And if it's free, they won't commit to the process or to the journey.